Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're doing Favorite Character Friday. Now, I'm going to be talking about a few of my favorite characters, since the series 1 was already favorite character. Tonight, I'm talking about, other favorite characters that aren't, like, my top characters, but characters who I love so much. One of my favorite characters, and I will talk about him so much throughout the course of doing this series, is Davos. Davos is just everything. Davos is the savior of pretty much everything that Stannis has done. I mean, he saved Stannis' ass from the siege and starvation. But one of my favorite things about Davos is he's just so humble and modest, and he's truthful, and he's one of the few kind people left in Westeros, and that's really sad because they usually kill off the good guys, just saying. But I mean, Davos, in my mind, is a character who, if he died, or if anything happened to him, I would just be so devastated. Davos. So many good things to talk about with Davos. He's a smuggler. He's one of the best smugglers. He has a really good friend named Salazar Sand. Salazar Sand is not one of my favorite people because, first of all, he's kind of, he's kind of blunt. And the fact that he's too truthful with his words and meanings and things like that. Another thing about Davos that is really, really tough is, he has Stannis, but the Red Woman, Stannis' shadow, she and the Queensmen do not like him at all. And, Davos is just kind, and they just don't like him. And I think it would be really hard to live in a castle where people didn't like you, or you felt that people didn't like you at all. Because that would make you kind of feel like shunned in a way. Like, I guess he feels like he's more like an invisible sort. But, I mean, not the Stannis, obviously. Getting into another one of my favorite characters, is definitely Jaime. Jaime, in my mind, he's went from awful to not necessarily like a kind person per se, but he's made himself a better person because he met Brienne of Tarth back in Storm of Swords, and they went to King's Landing together, and she, in my mind, made Jaime Lannister a better person, because Jaime was not at all a nice person. He was kind of more brutal in a way. Like, he's an interesting read. In Storm of Swords, in the very beginning of Storm of Swords, I hated his guts because I was like, who's this character? Oh, it's Jaime. Yeah, he won't change. Totally changed and wowed me as the story went on in Storm of Swords. Now, in Feast, he's one of my favorite chapters and characters to read about, just because his story sucks me in. Because, just because he's more on his own than he was. So, Jaime, I love you. Okay. Talk about another favorite character I love to death. Let's talk about this character for a second. It's not going to be a surprise that anybody who's read the books, that anybody who hasn't read the books, or anybody who just, stumbling on, is Cersei. Cersei is she's not a good person. In my mind. But in my mind, my favorite characters don't have to be good people. But she's a mother. One of the reasons I like her in this particular book is because everything that she stands for and everything that she does is to save her child and sit her child upon that Iron Throne. She rules right now, but you watch. Tommen's gonna be sitting on the Iron Throne. Everyone's predicting, oh, Tommen's gonna die, and I'm like, oh no, please tell me something else. But yeah, Cersei just wows me because each time I read about her chapters, I'm like, she does what? But yeah, Cersei, in the very beginning of Feast for Crows, we find her right after Tywin's death. She tries to restore the realm to her liking. She finds new men. She sets them on small council. They're awful men, by the way. Terrible choices. But she sets a bunch of new men that aren't like Tyrell men or anything like that. She sets her own men there. And things like that. And she just wows me as a mom because she's so paranoid about everything and she doesn't trust anyone or really anything really. And then she finds this girl named Taina who they really like, who she really likes. They become really close and things like that. But yeah, one more character before we go, and that is, oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on who he is? Doran. Doran Martell has this grand master plan. Oh my god, this character, when I read about him, people think, oh, Doran Martell's boring. He's from Doran, blah, blah, blah. No. Doran Martell is so important and crucial to the story. It's not even funny. Okay? Doran likes to push things off. He really does not do, in my mind, in the beginning, I think, what is this character going to do? Why is this character so important to the story? Bam! He's imprisoning the Sand Snakes. He's saying no to Marcella. They go to Greenblood, or whatever. Marcella gets her ear cut off. And, Doran Martell becomes, they found out about it. And they're just like, someone always tells, someone always knows. Doran's always one step ahead of everybody else. Everybody else. Which is one of the reasons why I like him so much. He's a character that always has the strategies in order. And he's smart. He's a strategist. He acts right away.